Okay, for this lab, you would be needing a FortiGate firewall. You can request a demo by going to fortinet.com, and from here go to support and Fortinet for a demo. From here you can go to the Secure SD-WAN demo. Once you click on this, you would be coming to this page and just fill in the information, and you can download the demo, which will be available for you for 2 weeks or 15 days. Or you can come on to this website, which is GNS3. Go to this link. I can share this link in the description of this video. And if you come down a little bit, you will be able to see a thread. And in this thread, you would be able to see that an image has been shared by this guy here. I can share this link as well in the description of this video, from where you will be able to download this QCOW2 file. This is a chemo image that you would be able to run in your operating system. My base operating system is Ubuntu. To be specific, it's 20.04, which is the latest long-term release. You can use other operating systems which support GNS3, like you can use Debian, or even you can use Windows, but one flaw with Windows is that you cannot use containers over there. I will be using an image of containers. So once the image is downloaded, the second thing, of course, like I mentioned, is the GNS3. The third, of course, you can use some other device as well that can induce or can mimic the lag or the latency problem that I would like to show you in this video, but my preference is Linux. So to do that, let me just show you what I mean by that. Once you have Ubuntu system with you, you need to install Docker. So to install Docker, you can simply do sudo apt install and docker.io. I have already got installed, so I don't need to install it again. Once you have the Docker installed, you need to pull in the Docker image that are publicly available from Docker from hub.docker.com. Let me show you the images that I have with me right now. I have these images that some of them I have built myself, and some of them I have pulled from the public repository. This is the image that we are interested in. It's Alpine Linux. Look at the size, only 5 MB, and it's a full-fledged Linux image that we will be using for this demonstration. To pull the image, you need to type in docker pull and the image name. To find the images, you need to go to, let's say, hub.docker.com. From here you can pull the images. Let's say if I type in Alpine here, and this is the image that you can pull, you just go over there and copy this one and put it in your terminal, and you will be able to pull it. Once you pull it, you will get this. Now this image has most of the things, but this image, I checked it, this image does not support by default. It does not have that utility that we are interested in. So we need to install it. To install it, we need to execute docker, make this image run, and do the necessary changes, and then save that image. So to do that, I'm going to type in docker run -it and the image name, which is Alpine, and once it runs, drop me into a shell. Okay, so once we are in it, we can let me first check the connectivity, that if you are connected to internet. Let me check mine. Okay, I can ping. Let me also check if my DNS is working. So I'm gonna type in, let's say, google.com, and I can ping. So my internet and my DNS is working. I can install the necessary software if I want to. The only software that I am interested in is apk add and iproute2. This is a suite of utilities, and the utility that we need is known as traffic controller, or TC for short. This is the one which is by default not available in Debian distributions that Debian based distribution it is available, but in Alpine it is not available by default. So once you install the package, the one that I showed you here, iproute 2, you will get this utility, which is very much helpful and is the, you can say, the key component for this lab. So once this is installed, let me show you one more thing. Open another tab. Now the changes that you have made are local to this container only. Once you stop the container, they will be destroyed. So what I want is that they should persist, and I should be able to use them in the future. Doesn't matter if I stop the container or turn off my computer or whatever. So the way to do that is, let me first show you the running images. The one that is running is this one at the moment, and this is the one that has the necessary changes that we just did. So I'm gonna do is stop the container. Once it is stopped, okay, once the container is stopped, I'm gonna make a copy of that by using command docker commit and the name of the container and the name with whatever name I want to save it, for example testing. Once the image is saved, we can see the images, and this is the image that we just saved. Now if I run this image again using the same command that I had shown you earlier here, this command, instead of Alpine I would be typing in testing, we would see that we will have the necessary changes in there. So I have already made the changes, and the changes that I made was in this image bridge. I have already done this part. So this is the key point that I was talking about, that you would not be able to do this part in Windows operating system. Now once that part is done, open your GNS3, and in GNS3 go to preferences, and in preferences let's say if you are using Linux or Ubuntu or Debian or whatever Linux distribution like I'm using here, go into Docker and Docker containers, and from here you can create a new container. I have already created a few, for example these ones over here. Let me just quickly show you how we can do it. The one that we created now is this one, testing. Click on next, name it whatever you want to name it. Since this is just test, so I'm gonna not change it. You can give it a number of adapters, let's say 4. Next, leave this one as it is and go next and finish it. And we have this container here. This is exactly the same container that I created earlier before start of this video, and I just changed the symbol to make it as bridge because this is essentially the function that we'll be utilizing. Second thing that we need to do is import that QCOW2 image, that FortiGate image. Since it's a QEMU image, we are going to import it in QEMU virtual machines. I have already imported it, this one here, but to show you how you can do it is very simple. Go to new, give it any name that you like, click on next. I have allocated 1 GB RAM. 1 GB RAM is enough for this image. You can change value here. Go to next, leave it at this, and from here you can select the image location and then just click simply finish. I have allocated 1 CPU, that is enough. 1 GB RAM. I have changed the adapter count to 6, and rest of the things were default. So I'm gonna cancel this because that is already there. This is the Alpine image, default Alpine image. I'll be using it as my host, and this is the bridge that I created, which is a key component for this lab, and this is the FortiGate image that I created before the start of this video. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pause the video and draw a quick topology. Okay, so this is the topology. These are two FortiGate appliances, first and second. You can assume that these are two offices. They can be more than two, but for this demonstration I'm just assuming that these are two sites. You actually do not need to put in two FortiGate appliances. You can use with one, but just for the demonstration purposes I'm using two. Actually you can achieve the same functionality with one as well. These are, we can say that these are our LAN segment. One is over here, the other one is over here. These are the IP scheme, 30.11 on the right side, and this one is 20. And also the loopback IP addresses for my FortiGate, they are required, kind of like you will see in the demonstration, that why I'm using loopback addresses. and their management interfaces are connected to this switch, which in turn is affected to a cloud device. I have changed this cloud device from here. I've changed the cloud device symbol to this management workstation, and it is connected to a bridge interface, which is, you can say, a local interface that I created on my Ubuntu machine. If you also want to create this one, you can do it like come on to connections, add connections from here, add a new connection, and from there select type as bridge, and you can simply create it. And from there you can also assign it IPv4 address. I have given it the subnet of 192.168.56.0. My management or my Ubuntu machine has the IP address of 56.1. So for these machines, I will be accessing these machines using this terminal, and of course I will be assigning them IP addresses from this subnet range. This is the key component that I was talking about. This is actually that same Alpine image with that IP route 2 utility installed. With that utility, we have the option to use traffic controlling, and what we'll be essentially doing is that we will be inducing certain lags or certain latency or even packet drop or jitter onto these links, so that our FortiGate appliances change the path of the traffic based on the link conditions. Primarily we'll be using the bottom link. We'll consider that this is ISP1, the upper one is ISP2 link. These are the subnets that we'll be using, and one more thing that I would like to add here is that you can consider this bridge as a bump in the wire. Like, it's not a layer 3 device. You can just say that these two devices are actually directly connected, but in a way that because of network conditions or some errors on the link, they would like to shift to other one. What I meant to say is that these are, like, you can say layer 2 native. They will be able to see each other Ethernet frames. So this one, bottom one, is just remember that ISP1, and the upper one, which is connected to E2 interface, is ISP2. And we would be considering that ISP1 is simple internet traffic from where we can send all of our traffic. But if there is a degradation according to certain SLA levels, like maybe we are having we are experiencing higher latency, then the traffic should be shifted over to this costlier link, which will be ISP2. So I'm gonna stop the video here, or so that in the next video I'll show you the actual configuration part. So see you over there.